If let's see, who's a young guy that's coming up on a big deal? Um,
Lamar.
yeah, Lamar. So say the Ravens, the reason why they've been really good is their defense is incredible. They have great running backs. Obviously Lamar is, most of that, right? But when it gets time for his extension, why not trade him for the number one pick? And, you get a guy like Kyler Murray or something who's replacing a lot of that talent. But then you can keep the amazing defense. You can keep the good running backs and be contending again still. So
Yeah,
I don't
absolutely.
know. Yeah. So that's kind of my thoughts on the whole thing. I would definitely be trading guys like Jared Goff instead of paying them $35 million.
Totally.
All right, let me get to the next question here. This is from Gunner. Hey, Marsh, what's your favorite candy?
Probably Twin Snakes by Haribo. Also a very big fan of Sour Patch Watermelon. Any kind of candy I will eat. So it's
Those
not
are
really it's not a favorite candy. It's just what am I being presented with at the moment
yeah,
and how hungry I am.
yeah. So those are actually if we're just talking gummy candy, which I'm not typically a gummy candy guy, those are my two favorites as well. I love the Sour Patch watermelons and the Twin Snakes. But I love. Have you ever had the candy bar whatchamacallit?
Once or twice, yeah.
I really like those,
Not
man.
bad.
Those,
Not bad. Very
yeah,
underrated.
yeah, I agree. Okay. So moving on. Um, do you think Manny will have the same fate as Willie Taggart at FSU, even after getting another offensive coordinator and making changes to his staff? What record
Um,
is he is getting this year?
I don't I don't think so. Just because I think Manny Diaz also has the benefit of having the coronavirus situation, and it's hard to let's say that Miami. No, and I don't think so. Just because I think Manny Diaz has, I think Rhett Lashley is a much better offensive coordinator than Bryles. I think that Miami also has a lot more talent on the offensive side of the ball than FSU did or had last year. It's hard to win 10, 11 games if Alex Hornibrook is your quarterback, and he did it with Wisconsin, but he didn't. FSU certainly didn't have the Wisconsin offensive line or Jonathan Taylor in the backfield, and so I think Manny Diaz has a lot more better resources. Also, I think that with the addition of Coach Justice and Coach Likens and also Coach Hickson at the running backs, I think that Manny has a lot better resources on the offensive side of the ball, and so no, and I don't think that unless you're Al Golden, you lose 58-0. I don't think that Miami is going to fire its head coach in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
And I just think that Manny Diaz is better than Willie Taggart. I just don't. I wasn't a fan of Willie Taggart when he was at Oregon, and the fact that he wasn't even that great at Oregon. Then he went to a big program like Florida State, where you're expected to win 9-10 games. I just wasn't a fan of him, and I'm still not sold on Manny Diaz as a head coach yet, but no, I don't see him having that same fate.
I'm with you. I think you brought up coronavirus, and I think coronavirus gave Manny probably more of an out than he would have had, say this was a regular season. Because I mean, think about it. Like we didn't have spring camp. We're not having guys on campus right now. Well, I guess we actually might again, but you know what I'm saying. Like all the preparation for the season has been completely interrupted. And so I think Manny will really have to crap the bed this season, to get fired. And also like the vibe of the program right now is that we're trending up.
And then I was just about to say that look at all the good stuff that Manny Diaz has done. I mean, you see the GPA for the program is very, very high, and just the way that he handled the situation with the George Floyd thing and everything. I think that Manny he's a very popular guy at the moment, and so he was doing a lot of things that Willie Also Willie didn't have the opportunity to do some of these things, but yeah, just the vibe of the program is very high right now, and unless we're sitting at like a 3-7 record, 4-6 record, it's going to be very hard to get and all the players love Manny. All the guys love Manny, and I've talked to several of the players, and they love Coach Diaz, and so no, I don't see him at all having the same fate as Willie did at FSU.
Yeah, I mean, I just 100% agree with you. It makes me think like, maybe we'll have a situation like we've spoken with Levon and Bruce Johnson about, they were both super bummed when Randy Shannon got fired, and kind of the idea like they let him down, it wasn't his fault. So, I mean, maybe we see something like that. But you're right. I feel like Manny's kind of on fire right now, and he's kind of put his expert politician spin on this offseason and has us trending up even after coming off a terrible year. And yeah, so I think we're in agreement there, my man. Let's see. Okay, this is from our man, is it Stefan Urkel?
Yep.
I think it's pronounced Stefan. I hope I get that right, brother.
He's that guy. I love Stefan.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's on our Zoom calls. I should know that. I just am spacing right now. Pass the ball to any receiver on the Canes with the game on the line. Who are you throwing to? And let's call this wide receiver rather than pass catcher, because I think we'd both say Brevin.
Yes.
But yeah, let's go with wide receiver.
I am going to say probably Mike Harley, just because he's the veteran guy. He's been in those kind of situations, and he kind of reminds me a little bit of Braxton Berrios. And when the game was on the line in 2017, you went to number 8. When it was 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7, you got the ball to Braxton Berrios and so I think, and Mike Harley has pretty sure hands, and nothing against D. Wiggins. But yeah, I think you just give it to the veteran in that situation and let him make something out of it. So my vote is Mike Harley.
Yeah, typically I'd go with man, we need to disagree at some point. Typically I'd go with Mike Harley. As he's my favorite receiver going into this year, but for all the reasons you said, I'd probably go with Harley. But how bad does this question make you miss KJ Osborne on the team?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because if you asked me this last year, I'd say KJ Osborne before you could even get the question off.
Yeah, it's just, Harley and Osborne, they're just reliable guys. And I'm not saying that the other guys aren't reliable, but I think a lot of people would say Harley in this situation, and I think that speaks a lot. So,
yeah.
Hopefully D. Wiggins turns into that guy that we can count on. If it's 24-20, we're leading and we need a first down, and it's 3rd and 7, I slant to Harley, quick out to Harley, and I think you get that first down. So,
hey, did you know that Mark Pope was a 5-star recruit?
Did you? Okay. Okay, that's cool. So was Kyle Wright.
Right?
So was Lorenzo Lingard.
Yeah, right. Wait, who? I've never heard of that guy.
That guy was.
So here's a question from Quest89. If King gets hurt, will our team be able to survive off of Lashley's scheme? Also, why doesn't anyone talk about the depth at tight end? So let's hit both of these things.
Okay. First, I'm going to answer the second one.
Okay.
How dare you ask that question? Because I have said many times over and over about my guy, Will Mallory, and no one wants to hear his name. But then you ask this question, and you freaking act like I haven't answered this before. I have said over and over about my guy, Will Mallory. I'm a huge fan of Larry Hodges. So don't ask this question when I have given the answer time and time again. We have depth at tight end. No one wants to hear the name Will Mallory. But yes, we have incredible talent or depth at tight end, but no one wants to talk about Will Mallory because he dropped a pass in week 1.
Yeah.
Okay. We have depth at tight end.
Yeah. No, I mean I agree with you. I'm a big Larry Hodges fan, so um, and obviously the ceiling is there with Will Mallory. Um, maybe with no fans at the game, maybe he'll be able to catch a few more balls. Just kidding. We
Not a
just
bad
need.
point.
Can we play our home games on Green Tree and then Will Mallory will
Yes.
be an All-American?
Yep. Green Tree legend right there.
Right. No, I really like Mallory. I'm not out on him at all. I was very frustrated with him, but I wasn't selling off my Will Mallory stock. You know what I mean? I'm
Mm-mm.
not out on him
We're
as a
gonna be
player.
rich this year.
Yeah, I just was grinding my teeth every time I'd hear his name last season. But yeah, no, I think we got a ton of depth. Big Larry Hodges fan, big Will Mallory fan. Um, Ryan Roberts, is that his name? Our draft buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he was saying that he thinks that Will Mallory might even have more pro potential, and I can see that.
Oh, we've been saying, like, Mike McCoy and I have been saying that since like last March. I think potentially Will Mallory could have a higher pro ceiling than Brevin does. I just love the way that Will's put together. I love his after the catch speed and what he's able to do with the football. I mean, if idiots just put on the tape of Will Mallory at the end of last year, they're able to see a guy who can get it done. And so,
yeah,
but to the first question, I really really like that question.
yeah,
If King goes down, will we be able to survive? Um, I think I think we'll be able to survive, not in the showcase that we would with King as our quarterback, but I think if you put N'Kosi Perry back there, like if King goes down week 5, let's just say, I
uh-huh.
think Cozy can get it done. I'm not so sure that we can do the things that we're projecting that we're predicting that we'll be able to do. Sorry, I can't even talk today. I'm just so fired up. But I think N'Kosi will be able to. I think N'Kosi can get you to 8 or 9 wins.
Yeah,
But King is the guy that can get you to 10 or 11 wins,
uh-huh.
even with the scheme. And so, does that make sense?
It does make sense. Dude, and oh my gosh, if King goes down, like, not even talking about how horrible that'd be, because he has so much potential and, a potential NFL career. Not even talking about the serious stuff. Dude, I would lose my mind because we'd get back to the whole, like, Cozy Hive versus Tate Train and all that nonsense that, I mean, jeez, dude, it feels like people arguing politics when
So
when
that's
we're,
so
when we're
stupid.
talking about the quarterback stuff, man. It just drives me insane. And I'm a Tate Martell stan, so you know that I'd be on the Tate train, whether it's rational or not. I would be. And dude, it would just, oh my gosh, I'd want to drink bleach if that happens, just because
Yeah,
I don't know if I could. I
it's
don't
so
know if I could watch our team just flounder without a solid quarterback option and me just be like, yep, I'm enjoying myself right now.
yeah. Well, and
Last
the
year was
thing is, like, I'm a big fan of both guys. I love Cozy and I love Tate Martell, and so,
yeah,
but the way that the people argue against these guys, it's like, ugh.
yeah,
It's like they forget that they're just 19, 20-year-old kids. Like, ugh, that's the biggest thing to me. But yeah,
yeah,
to go back to the question, I think we can survive with N'Kosi Perry at our quarterback if King goes down, just not to the level of efficiency with a guy like King.
yeah. Yeah, and I'm not trying to talk any crap on Cozy. I think the reason why I skew towards coming off as a hater towards Cozy, which I promise I'm not. I like him. He's just fine. He seems like I appreciate the fact that he's worked on his off the field stuff. I kind of viewed him as a leader in the locker room last year, which is a complete 180 from his previous years at Miami. And I just feel like I know our ceiling with Cozy as quarterback, and I just want more out of this team than that.
It's a good
Maybe
point.
I'm wrong, but like I feel like you said, I feel like our ceiling with Cozy is like 9 wins when all is said and done. That's even if we win a bowl game.